That's funny, man. So the one thing to that point, you know what I'm saying, the creation of music, man, making music. And from my standpoint, like the reason why I love music so much was because of the collaboration, the involvement of other people and bringing it in. Well, and so I feel like you're at one end and I'm at the other end. So because I knew that I couldn't do everything, right? I was like, I need a team around me, which was obtuse, Al and Bracy and Jason. There was a bunch of people in the mix. JMC, it was a bunch of people in the mix who I could learn from, who are still in the mix, still near and dear friends of mine. But that's funny, man. That was one of the main things that why I gravitated towards music, was looking at the different people that would be involved in a project and saying, like, I'm a nerd. I still am a nerd. Like, and as social as I am, there are at times like I was super, super shy and super like withdrawn because of just kind of a lack of confidence, man. Growing up,
I won't take that one, dog. Are you serious, man?
I'm trying to tell you, man. And here's the funny thing. When I started to come out of my shell, it really wasn't until Inroads. It really wasn't until Inroads where I felt like, okay, I feel like, and this isn't to discredit people that I grew up with at Mount Juliet or whatever, but it just wasn't a big collection of people that I just really felt I personally connected with and felt like they were like me. You know what I'm saying? So I felt somewhat, this is probably getting too deep, but just felt kind of an outcast. And I was like, man, I'm not connected. Like, it was only a handful of people I felt like that I connected with through my high school years. And even leading up to that, even middle school, and, who were actually, and I should say this, who were Black, right? Yeah. Who were of color, people of color.
Yeah.
I was in Mount Juliet, man. It was out in the sticks, especially at that point. So it was like, once I got to Inroads, which my brother was in Inroads before me, and I saw like his enjoyment and just the collection of people, the quality collection of people who were part of the organization, the people going in, the interns, and then the mentors, the whole organization as a whole was incredible to me. So I was excited about getting there. And I think once I got there, I was just like, I made it. Okay, I'm cool. Yeah. And I just kind of started opening up. But before that, bro, I was over here in the corner, like.
That's very interesting. I don't think I've ever heard that story or knew that, man.
Yeah. I mean, super. Now, I felt more introverted, but I felt like I was just kind of waiting for my moment in my head. It was like this anticipation of like, man, I'm going to really get it, and I felt like that going to UT. I was like, man, I can just kind of just be me and be in an environment where it's like going to be people like me. And I got to Inroads and I was like, this is it. And it just kind of transitioned me right into UT. And I was like, I made it. But yeah, man, low key, man, I was very, very introvert, like extrovert in ways, but I think I was an introvert, but at heart an extrovert, and just waiting to be in a space that I was, God, that sounds so today, man, like space. But yeah, just waiting to be in like a space that I felt comfortable in and felt confident enough to be myself.
Before you even move from there, man, it's sociology, right? At its core.
Yeah.
And we all are looking for our our crew, our our band, our community, right? Yeah. And when we get it, it's like it's home. And and what happens is most people either grow up or are kind of like tossed into an environment, regardless if they like it or not, and they grow up dealing with, do I want to embrace this community that I have, not in a bad way or good way, but they just get to make that decision. And usually it's between high school, college, that choice gets to be made, right? I get to focus on that even from a deeper standpoint, but especially during that matriculation in school, because you're like, okay, all right, this is my crew right here, right? Yeah. This is my people. And when you do it, it just feels like home. And so to your point, man, like I saw Jay not too long ago. I hadn't seen him literally like almost years, right?
Yeah.
And it felt like we didn't miss a beat, man. It's just like, hey. And so like when you hit me up, I was like, let me make sure it's really him. And then I was like, that's my dog right there, you know. So it was just cool. It just worked out. So I mean, I think naturally you connect back to that quote unquote community that you really are. Because think about it, there's some people who, if they were amongst us right now, they would just feel, to your point, out like an outcast because they just don't feel right. Yeah. And so it's just real cool to know when you actually have that. And here's the truth of the matter: everybody has one. Sure. Everybody has a community, but then there's also people who are trying to move from their community to another one. And where the fear, the angst, the anxiety happens is when you're in between communities, right? Because we are made to be attached to one, one at a time, possibly a few of them at a time, but we're never made or created or wired to be in between the bubbles. If you can think of like circle, right? And then between here, this void, and so that's where depression gets for a lot of folks, man. And then you be like, man, what happened? Because they were in between, or they were missing, or they was trying to gravitate, or they was trying to have a lot of questions. And what's really happening is they didn't have that community to wrap their arms around them unknowingly and be like, man, you good? You all right? You all right? You good?
Wow.
And it's tough. Like, think about the kid who moves from one state to another because, like, something is happening there. That he got to develop that whole new community that he knows or doesn't know at that point, and that's tough for him. And you think about people when they lost a job, and when these are things that I once was here, I'm not here anymore, and I'm trying to look for the next one, and that's tough. And so that's the space that we get to. I get to work and operate in from time to time. We're like, hey man, let's get you there. But let's make sure it's all good for you.
Yeah, absolutely, man. That kind of hit a nerve for me, man. I was telling you about that. I think I told you about Griffin Technology. So I was there for almost 10 years and obviously developed a very, a community, you know what I mean? Of a professional community. I mean, I've been around those guys, a lot of those guys for, man, almost the whole time I was there. And when that company kind of went under, it got bought, and then basically, whatever. The one main thing that I said that when I left that job, I said, man, I have to make sure I find the right fit in this company. You know what I mean? In this next thing that I'm doing, I've got to find the right fit. I feel like I found it at Quaver, but to your point, when you're in between those bubbles, like I was in between those bubbles for about 2 years from Quaver from Griffin to Quaver. I was in this in between and had, oh gosh, man, I was bouncing around like crazy. It felt like, I think I had like 4 or 5 different gigs. Now going from a place where I had been, I think it was like 9 years and like 6 or 7 months.
Wow.
About 10 years. And then going to that space of just like, oh my gosh, this ain't it. Nope. This ain't it. Nope. This ain't it. And it was tough. So yeah, to your point, finding that fit. Yeah. Even for me professionally it was everything at that point, but it took some time, man. And I do remember feeling, just kind of like, man, I was so glad for Tanya during that time.
Yeah.
Also, that was right around the time that we had Knox, that Tanya had Knox, and that I feel like absolutely I could pour all of the positive that I had into that and not sink into like some kind of depressive state.
Yeah.
To your point, thank God, man. Because I mean, I don't know if I've ever really been able to articulate it in that, you know what I'm saying, like that well, but that's exactly what it was like. I mean, in literally every interview, it was just like, man, I mean, my main thing, I know I've got a good brand. I know I can do this job. I know that I'm going to be great for you guys. I want to make sure you're going to be great for me though. I want to be sure that that we are a good match, that we fit. So
Yeah.
no, that's powerful, man. That's a very good point. Very good point. That's strong. We've got the Inroads connection, clearly, which had a major impact on my life. Some of those people I'm still connected with, you included, near and dear friends. How has that impacted your career path, you know, from what it is that you're doing, man? Like, I know we did workshops specifically with like Toastmasters, writing workshops, you know, reading workshops. This was at high school, obviously.
Yeah.
But all those things that prepped us for, you know, that next level, which was college, University of Tennessee, go Vols.
Yeah.
But now looking back, like, how do you think that experience influenced kind of your path and you know, where you are now?
This is gonna be funny, man. Probably just to hear me say this, but I didn't feel like I fit in when I was there. I mean, when you think about it, a lot of things was around business, engineering, right? And I remember even hearing we don't have any internships for architecture. So they really couldn't follow me to the university and do like what they did with some, because they didn't have those internships, they didn't have those opportunities, they didn't have those relationships built.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? And because they didn't, it still was good information, because think about it. I speak, like, my livelihood over the last 15 years or so has been around me speaking. And you talk about Toastmasters, you talk about getting up, doing those presentations, doing that. I mean, I was scared as all get out, man. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Even though I had a nice little suit from Burt's, you know.
Oh, yeah, crispy in there, man.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? I thought I was doing the thing. And so what was cool about it is the people that are there, I've been able to reconnect with. I'm talking about like from the mentors and the people that was over. I mean, think about Derek Young, man.
Oh, huge,
right? And I remember I came in and I was doing some work, and I was reaching out to Derek. Derek was busy. Derek was flying all across the nation, but he was doing exactly what I wanted to do.
Right.
And you know, once again, got all these concepts. That was another thing that I realized that, hey, if I had somebody who can show me, remember I started off talking about this, you can't go where you don't see.
Be sure to visit FlyDialogue.com to find out more about us, including our radio station where we stream hip hop 24/7. Yo, we're literally jamming as we speak. We got a craft beer blog called Cream. Craft rules everything around me. You can find us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, the craft beer app called Untapped, or on YouTube. Just search Fly Dialogue on all these platforms. Be sure to follow us and friend us, subscribe to us. Long story short, check us out. We'd love to have y'all, and we look forward to connecting with you. And let's talk soon.